Imagine you are standing at a crossroads where one path is paved with a steady paycheck and the comfort of a familiar routine, while the other is a misty trail leading toward the unknown freedom you've spent 40 years dreaming about. Most of us stay on the paved road because our bosses tell us we're valued, our bank accounts look almost ready, and the fear of a market dip keeps us tethered to a desk for just one more year. But what if I told you that for those of us retiring on a moderate income, that extra year of work is actually the most expensive purchase you will ever make? We often obsess over the interest we're gaining in our 401ks, yet we completely ignore the aggressive inflation hitting our physical energy, our spouse's health, and our capacity for genuine adventure. This isn't a video about why work is bad. It's a transparent look at the silent, irreversible trade-offs you are making every Monday morning that no financial advisor will ever put in a spreadsheet. If you have $500,000 or less and you're waiting for a perfect number to finally say goodbye, you need to understand the hidden tax of delay before your best years are spent funding a future you're too tired to enjoy. Number 1. Why $500,000 at 62 is worth $700,000 at 67. When we look at our retirement accounts, we're trained to see numbers as absolute values, believing that a higher balance always equates to a better life. But this is a dangerous mathematical illusion. If you are aiming to retire with $500,000 at age 62, those dollars possess a purchasing power for experiences that simply cannot be replicated by having $700,000 at age 67. At 62, your body still has the resilience to navigate long flights, hike local trails, or manage the physical demands of a cross-country road trip without significant recovery time. By the time you grind out those extra 5 years to pad your portfolio, you aren't just gaining $200,000, you are losing the peak functional utility of your wealth. Those extra dollars often end up being spent on convenience, medical assistance, or comfort upgrades that you wouldn't have even needed 5 years earlier. For a moderate-income household, the goal shouldn't be to die with the largest pile of gold, but to exit the workforce while your physical capital is high enough to actually spend the financial capital you've worked so hard to save. Number 2. The go-go decay. We often talk about retirement lasting 20 or 30 years, but the reality is that your go-go years, the period where you are truly unrestricted by health, are a finite and rapidly evaporating resource. Think of the first 1,000 days after you leave your job as the most precious currency you own, a window where your joints, energy levels, and mental sharpness are at their post-career peak. When you choose to delay retirement by just 3 years to be safe, you are effectively trading away nearly 1,100 days of your highest quality life for a bit of extra cushion in a bank account. Most retirees with a $500,000 nest egg find that their biggest regret isn't that they didn't have more money, but that they waited until their slow-go years to start living their dreams. We assume our health will remain a flat line, but aging is often a series of sudden steps downward, and once a mobility issue or a chronic condition arrives, that extra money becomes useless for adventure. By retiring sooner on a moderate budget, you are choosing to prioritize the window of time where you can still physically show up for your life, rather than funding a decade of sitting in a more expensive chair. Number 3. How the productivity habit kills the ability to enjoy leisure. The hardest part of leaving the workforce isn't the loss of a paycheck, but the silent struggle of deprogramming a brain that has been rewarded for being productive for 40 years. When you delay retirement, you are strengthening a psychological habit that equates your personal value with your output, making it nearly impossible to actually relax once you finally step away. This productivity habit creates an emotional ceiling. You find yourself unable to sit through a quiet morning or enjoy a hobby without feeling a nagging sense of guilt or the need to accomplish something. For a moderate-income retiree, this is a tragedy because your greatest asset in retirement is your free time, yet you might find yourself too mentally rigid to spend it on simple, low-cost joys. We see people who work until 67 or 70 and then struggle to find an identity outside of their job title, leading to a deep sense of isolation and purposelessness in their golden years. By choosing to exit earlier, you give yourself the mental flexibility to reinvent who you are, while you still have the curiosity and emotional energy to explore new roles.
Number 4. The math of time arbitrage for moderate incomes. One of the most common myths in U.S. financial planning is that you must delay Social Security until age 70 to win the game. But this advice often ignores the reality of life for a moderate income earner. When you have a nest egg of $500,000, your biggest challenge isn't surviving at age 95. It is bridging the gap between your final paycheck and your peak activity years without draining your life savings. By taking Social Security earlier, perhaps at 62 or 67, you are practicing what I call time arbitrage, using those guaranteed government dollars to buy back your freedom while you still have the vitality to use it. While the monthly check is smaller, the total number of checks you receive over your lifetime often balances out, especially when you consider that those early payments allow your portfolio to stay invested and grow. For a DIY investor, the math shifts when you realize that a dollar received at 62 is spent on a vibrant life, while a dollar received at 70 is often just spent on rising Medicare premiums or supplemental insurance. Making the decision to claim early or on time isn't about being lazy. It is a strategic move to ensure that your moderate income covers the most important years of your life first. Number 5. The difference between the active retiree and the tired retiree. In my years of studying real-life retirement outcomes, the most striking contrast isn't between the rich and the poor, but between those who retired active versus those who retired tired. I think of a couple in our community, Mike and Sarah, who retired with exactly $450,000 at age 61. They spent their first 3 years camping in national parks and volunteering at a local youth center while they still had the stamina. On the other hand, I've seen people like Dave from our earlier story who pushed until 67 to hit a safer number, only to find that by the time they turned the key, their world had significantly shrunk. The tired retiree often finds that their moderate savings are now locked away for just-in-case medical needs, and the travel gear they bought sits gathering dust in the garage because the desire for adventure has been replaced by a desire for rest. When you hear these stories, you realize that the active retiree didn't have a secret financial formula. They simply understood that a moderate income goes much further when it's paired with a body that doesn't require high-cost accommodations. These real-life examples prove that the quality of your retirement is determined more by the timing of your exit than by the final comma in your investment account balance. Number 6. How to stop moving the goalposts and reclaim your 168 hours. The most dangerous phrase in retirement planning is "just one more year," because it creates a moving goalpost that no amount of money can ever actually satisfy. We often tell ourselves that we will feel secure once we hit a specific number, like $500,000, but when we get there, the goal suddenly shifts to $600,000 out of a misplaced sense of caution. To break this cycle, you must perform an enough audit, which involves looking at your actual monthly expenses and realizing that your time is the only non-renewable asset you have left. Every week contains exactly 168 hours, and when you are working, at least 50 of those hours are sold to someone else in exchange for a currency that you might not even live to fully spend. For a moderate income household, enough is achieved when your guaranteed income and your modest savings cover your basic needs and your most valued hobbies, even if the total isn't impressive by Wall Street standards. Reclaiming your 168 hours means acknowledging that the security you are chasing is often an illusion, and that the true risk isn't running out of money, but running out of the time required to be the person you were always meant to be. Retirement is not a reward for reaching a finish line of exhaustion. It is a conscious decision to choose your personal memories over your profit margins before the choice is taken away from you. We have spent this time together exploring the hidden costs of delay because I want you to see that your $500,000 nest egg is a powerful tool for freedom right now, not just a safety net for a distant version of yourself. If you stay in the workforce out of habit or a vague fear of what if, you're effectively betting your best remaining years against a few extra percentage points of financial security. I want to invite you into our community of moderate income planners who are proving every day that a modest budget, when paired with an early exit, leads to a much richer life than a massive portfolio paired with a tired soul. Please share your thoughts in the comments about what is holding you back. Is it the math, the fear, or the pressure from others? And let's support each other in making the brave leap toward a life of presence. Your time is far too valuable to be traded for a number that will never feel like enough. So take the step, reclaim your days, and start building the legacy of experiences you truly deserve.